If you would like to attract a lot of high quality clients who see your value and are happy to pay your prices, then pay attention to this video. We're going to go through step by step how to create a campaign that attracts exactly those people. Okay, in today's video, I want to talk about successful marketing campaigns. Your business is made up of successful marketing campaigns. If you run regular successful marketing campaigns, you'll have a growing business. If you run a lot of campaigns that don't perform, you won't have a great business. And it really is kind of as simple as that. If you think about an engine of a car, each revolution determines how fast that engine's moving. In a business, each campaign and how many campaigns you can run determine how fast that business is growing. So it's vitally important that your business gets good at running campaigns. If you're not good at running campaigns, here's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see that you've got lots of value, but nobody knows about it. You're gonna see that your message just isn't landing with people. You're gonna find yourself fighting on price where people ask for discounts. You're gonna find that companies that you know are not as good as you are winning the customers that you should have won. So we want to fight back on all of that. We want to make sure that your company succeeds, your business is growing, and that you're running these successful campaigns that get great results. Let's get into it. So in order to run successful campaigns, we've got to get three things right. We have to talk to the right person, we have to communicate value, and we have to communicate urgency that people need to do something. They need to take some sort of an action. So in order to talk to the right person, we're going to use a tool called ICPs, Ideal Customer Personas. In order to communicate value, we're going to talk about understanding the customer's world and connecting with them. And in order to understand urgency, we're going to talk about this idea of fear of missing out. Now, it never used to be this way. So rather than having an ideal customer persona, in the olden days, we just had geography. And your ideal customer was anyone who lived within 5 miles of where your business was. So that was a geographically limited business, and that was every business, or almost every business, for hundreds and hundreds of years. Today, because we can reach people all over the world, we have to think about who we serve a little bit differently. Rather than thinking about the radius around our business, we need to think about the personas, the ideal customer personas. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. The value used to be all about your ability to supply something. And what we now need to think about is the manufacturing of desire. So if we went back a few hundred years ago, the business really had to focus a lot. In fact, it had to focus almost all of its attention and energy on the manufacturing of supply. It had to build something. It had to think about itself as a factory that was optimizing the creation of a product. It was all about build something, and if you build it, people will buy it. Today, that's not true. You can build plenty of things that people will not buy, even if they're well-built things. There's such competition on places like Amazon. You're only one click away from every other product in the world. So the money now goes towards those who know how to manufacture desire. They know how to make people want something. And then urgency used to be about price drops. People used to look for discounts, and there were these moments in time where there was a discount, and that was the moment to act. So sales and discounts. Today, people don't respond to sales and discounts because they can click around the internet and find plenty of cheaper alternatives. What they respond to is demand and supply tension, and we'll talk about how to build that. Okay, the first challenge with running campaigns is talking to the right person, and we're going to use a tool called ICPs, which stands for Ideal Customer Persona. So this is where we imagine who is our ideal customer, and we're talking to that person and we're excluding everybody else. So let's have a look at ideal customer personas. Something that's very interesting is the way that the income is split within every audience. I want you to imagine that you have an audience of 100 people who know you, like you, and trust you. They pay attention to you. These are the audience of people who are already connected with you in some way. Well, here's the rough statistics on that. 1% of the people who know you, like you, and trust you will have about 15% of the budget available to spend. The next 9% of people who know you, like you, and trust you in your audience will have 45% of the budget to spend. So these two, this top 10% here, they've got 60% of the available budget. So the top 10% has got 60% of the budget. Now down here, the 90%, the mass market, the vast majority of people, they have a collective 40% of the budget to spend. So we have 3 different market types that you could be talking to. This market, the big 90%, we'll call this the mass market. The 9%, we're going to call this the niche, or if you're in America, the niche market. And the top 1%, we'll call this the luxury market, right? The luxury end. So the 1%, the 9%, and the 90%. Now the 90%, These are people who typically have a fixed budget. They shop on price and they're looking for as much as they can possibly get for their fixed budget. So they don't have a huge budget, they're looking for as much as they can get. Now they love to shop in places like Amazon, because on Amazon it's easy to compare on price and you can see the star ratings and all of those sorts of things. So this is the mass market. My recommendation is to stay away from this. It's the noisiest, most price competitive end of the market. So the places that I recommend that you develop an ICP is the niche market or the luxury market. So let's talk about what luxury and niche markets want from you. The luxury market is all about pedigree. They want something called status from a product. They want resale value, even though they don't intend to resale it. So they're looking for the absolute best. They want the top product. They have very limited time available and money's not a concern for them. They're really thinking about who is the absolute best, who's won awards, who's been around for the longest, who has the highest prices, who are the most high status individuals buying from. They're thinking about those things when they're making a purchase. Now here in this 9%, this is the niche market, they are interested in passion, community, specialty, and refinement based on all of those things. So what they're looking for is something that is special. So think about it like this. The mass market, they're going to go on Amazon. The niche market, they're going to follow influencers. They're going to follow key people of influence. They're going to look for recommendations based upon the communities that they're part of. And luxury, they're going to look for the most high status, high recognized, most awarded brands, right? Those are the key things here. Now, if we were to think about this particular audience here, I'm going to recommend that most businesses focus on a niche market because this is a really good balance between there's plenty of them, right? 9% of the market fits into this category. They've got plenty of budget. They have 45% of the budget available, even though they're only 9% of the people. And they're interested in things like passion and community and specialty, things that small businesses do really, really well. Now, some of you who are listening could potentially address the luxury market. Maybe you've been around for 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe you've won major awards. Maybe you're a best-selling author. Maybe you've got famous clients who have bought from you. If you've got all of those things, you could go into this luxury market where you're the top 1% who can access 15% of the budget. Not a bad decision, but for many businesses, you want to focus on this 9% who've got 45% of the budget. Now, what you want to do is have a look within this 9% and you want to build 3 or 4 ICPs. So an ICP is an ideal customer persona. It's where you imagine a particular person and you say, what's their name? How old are they? What are their interests? Right? And you can use ChatGPT for this. You can actually get help from ChatGPT to build out avatar or a persona of this particular person who fits within this niche. Another great way to do it is actually find passionate, happy, excited customers that you've already worked with and then turn those into ideal customer personas. The other ideal customer persona that most businesses don't do is they don't create the wrong customer. They don't actually think about who are we not looking for. It's really worth creating an ICP for the person you don't want to talk to. So you want to create the person you do want to talk to. You also want to say, what is it that we're not looking for? So create a persona of someone who fits in that 90%. And here's why you want to do that. Because it's very, very easy for your business to get dragged down towards the noisy middle of your market where everyone's talking. So down here where everyone's making a lot of noise, there's 90% of people, 90% of the questions people ask, 90% of the conversations that are going on, it's all going to drag you down towards this noisy middle. So you need to create an ideal customer persona of who you're not wanting to talk to so that it reminds you not to get dragged down to that noisy middle and to keep talking to this ideal customer persona who fits within your niche. So now you've got an ideal customer persona, we need to communicate with them in a way that they recognize your value. Let's talk about it. So you've got your ideal customer persona and you need to get inside their mind and you need to communicate value to this person. So let me deconstruct the DNA of value. What is it that value looks like? So inside the mind of your ideal customer persona, there are 3 things that they have which they define as their situation. I call this the situation model. So the situation model is that they have a story about their current reality and why that reality is less than perfect. They have a story about their desired reality, what they're trying to achieve and why that would be better. And they have a story about their obstacles and criteria as to what stops them from getting what they want. So where are they now? Where do they want to be? And what's in the way is a typical story that people have in their minds. Now, a typical ideal customer has already tried to get things in the past. They've already tried to get over here to their desired reality, but they keep bumping into their obstacles and criteria. So they've got these negative experiences from the past, and we need to be able to radically empathize and understand what have they tried that didn't work that kept them in their current reality. And we need to be able to first connect with them based on that situation. People need to know how much you understand their situation before they care about the solution that you want to offer. So the mistake that most people make is that they try and offer solutions too soon. They try and talk to customers as though the customer is ready to buy, and most customers are not ready to buy because they have resistance based upon what they tried in the past that didn't work, and that's why they've got the buyer barriers up. They've got their shields up, preventing you from presenting them with solutions because they've tried things in the past that didn't work. But once you connect with people and you say, I understand this as your current reality, I understand this as your desired reality, I understand these are your obstacles and these are the things that you tried that didn't work, then people open up and they're like, okay, well, tell me what you've got that would be different. And this is where we present people with your path of least resistance. This is your product or service. So what you've done here is you've actually thought through what is it that would get people to where they want to go? What are all the principles and processes that would take people from their current reality to their desired reality without hitting the obstacles and criteria? And it's when you can present people with a set of steps or a set of products that take them from here to here, that's when people get excited. They get super pumped that you are able to present them with new value and that you've got a path of least resistance that is finally going to get them to their desired reality and move them away from the current reality that's less than perfect without bumping into this stuff that they always bump into. So this is your product or service. I want you to think about your product or service as though it is a path of least resistance from current reality to desired reality. However, once people see this, they recognize your value, but they don't feel any sense of urgency to buy unless you create that sense of urgency. Let's explore that. Hey there, if you're enjoying this content, I know you'll love my live workshop. In my live workshop, we look at differentiation, productization, and putting together game-changing partnerships. It's a really good live workshop. We interact, we do Q&A, so it's a little bit different from content. It's actually more of an interaction. If you would like to come and join me, there'll be a link somewhere below. Now let's get back to this video. Okay, so now it's time to create a sense of urgency for people. Now previously, we used to do price drops and sales and seasonal campaigns, but the campaign that works in the digital world is the campaign called FOMO, fear of missing out. And there's a way to create this. So we have the traditional economic model of demand and supply. When demand is high and supply is low, this creates a gap, and that gap is where we will find profit and we'll find increased prices, right? And we'll find customers who are taking action. Now, if supply is high and demand is low, this is where your business will create losses and prices are going to go down, right? So this is just economics 101. Now, the confronting thing when you study economics is you discover that there really is no objective value. Almost all things are just purely and simply a relationship between demand and supply. Whether it's diamonds or a glass of water or a Bitcoin or anything like that, it's really how many people want it versus how many are available. And essentially, that's what dictates the price. So what we have to do is create an imbalance between demand and supply, and we call that demand and supply tension. Now, how do we do that? What we do is we market for signals, not sales, and we call this signaled interest. And supply side, we call official capacity. And the signaled interest versus official capacity needs to be between 5 and 20 times the official capacity. So if you've got one unit that you want to sell, you need 5 to 20 people to signal interest in that unit. If you've got 10, you need 50 to 200 people to signal interest. So what you have to be able to do is market for signaled interest against official capacity. Your business needs to be able to say, this is my official capacity, this is how many customers I can take on, And these are how many people have signaled interest in my official capacity. And once you can bring transparency to this, once you can tell customers that the signaled interest exceeds the official capacity by a significant margin, people feel a strong sense of desire. They feel that little bit of fear of missing out. And not only that, your business has no fear of people rejecting you or turning you down, because there are plenty of people who have signaled interest and there's a limited number of units available. So therefore you know and you have the confidence that your business is going to be just fine regardless of what any individual decides, because you've got plenty of signaled interest and a limited official capacity. So once you've got those dynamics set up in your campaign is ready to roll. So let's have a little bit of a recap. We have the ideal customer persona. You need to select the right person to talk to based upon the right niche within your audience. You need to construct a value by talking to people about their current reality and their desired reality and your path of least resistance. And then you need to create urgency by contrasting the signaled interest versus the official capacity. And if you get those three things right, you will have a very successful campaign that generates a lot of money for you in the year ahead. If you enjoyed this video, please give the channel a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel to grow. And also in the comment section below, please let me know, out of these three things, which is it that your campaigns have been lacking? What is the thing that made the biggest difference that you can add to your campaigns to get a better result? I read every single comment. I would love to get your feedback and find out which part of this you found most valuable. I look forward to seeing you next time.